And joining us now is a man who we will not ask to wade in on the controversy over female country artist, Stuart Varney, Fox Business Channel, fresh off of his debut week there, now starting 9 to noon Eastern on the Fox Business Channel. How's the new gig?
The new gig is working very, very well, except that I have to get up an hour earlier these days, so I'm out of bed at 3 o'clock.
Really?
Oh, well, yeah, you're right there where we are then. All right. We've got something in common.
Join the club.
The difference is, Stuart, we don't have to look as good as you do.
That's right.
When you do your show. Well, listen, let's get right to it. I would love to follow up on a conversation we just had over the past hour, which is Governor Rick Perry throwing his hat in today. I love Varney and Company so much, Stuart, because it is that perfect intersection between economics and the business world and politics. So often the two go hand in hand. So from an economic perspective, from a business perspective, does Rick Perry have a pretty good story to tell as a potential Republican candidate?
Yes, he does. He's got a very good story to tell. Texas is way out front of the rest of the nation in terms of job creation, the employment level, and a dynamic workforce. He's attracted, Texas has attracted a lot of high-tech jobs to the Austin area. That is a boom town at the moment. So, yes, the answer to your question is, no question about it, Rick Perry has a remarkable economic achievement story to tell as is part of the presidency and moving towards the presidency. Whether or not he can get over the memory lapse 4 years ago, or however many years it was, that remains to be seen. And can he get over the hostility which many eastern seaboard states feel for Texas? Those are two big negatives, I think. But if you're asking strictly, how's the Texas economy doing? The answer is doing very well, thank you.
Our economy, however, may not be doing as well as some had suspected. We recently saw some numbers that suggested for the first time in a while, and it's a fairly rare thing to happen when you do all these economic surveys, our economy went through a contraction. Should we be concerned?
Yes, we should be concerned. A, because we are beginning a contraction and we don't have any policy tools to fix it. What are we going to do? Print some more money? That didn't work last time. All we did was get the stock market to go up. What are we going to do? Cut taxes? President Obama will never do that. We have no policy options to get out of this mess. But, Brian, I want to bring to your attention some new numbers, just got them from the Federal Reserve. This is not some outlier outfit. This is the Federal Reserve, and they say 47%, nearly half the people cannot get their hands on $400 cash at short notice. Now, that's an extraordinary picture of a hand-to-mouth society. How is this possible 6 years into a recovery? Half the people can't get hold of $400 cash? That is extraordinary.
Well, and given that, I mean, the president continues to, I mean, it's funny, he's just trying to will it to be so, that the economy is robust and we're finally starting to see a turnaround. You even see Hillary Clinton on the campaign trail saying, it always takes a Democrat to come in and right the wrongs of a Republican presidency. These aren't good numbers for that kind of narrative. Do they have any answer?
I don't think they do.
Yeah.
I'll go further. That same survey from the Federal Reserve, and by the way, they looked at 50,000 people.
Wow, that's a big survey, big sample.
Huge survey.
Yeah.
1/3 of those surveyed could not go to a doctor, would not go to a doctor because they can't afford it.
Wait.
Speaks volumes about the failure of Obamacare.
Yes, I thought Obamacare was going to fix all of our ills with regard to health care.
Didn't happen. Remember, deductibles? That's the problem here. Deductibles. The average deductible on a bronze plan, that's the cheapest plan available for poorer people, the cheapest deductible, the lowest price plan, the deductible averages $10,600 a year for a family.
And you've just told us that there are 47%, roughly half of Americans, can't even raise $400 on short notice.
Precisely.
Oh, man.
So to go to the doctor, you got to pony up the doctor's fee, the drug fee, and all the rest of it, and you don't have it. So you don't go to the doctor. This is pure nonsense. This is the gross failure of President Obama's economic policies and Obamacare. Failure. Terrible.
Hey, Stuart, we're going to take this issue up with our listeners in about 30 minutes, but I would love to hear you chime in on this as well. Lincoln Chafee He announced his candidacy for the presidency yesterday. He's the governor of Rhode Island. He's a Democrat. It's okay if you haven't heard of him. No one has. But Lincoln Chafee, part of his campaign platform is to move America to the metric system. He says it would be a great thing for us. It would actually make us more international, and it will help our economy. Now, you sort of have an international flair. You're an American citizen now, but you grew up in Europe. Do you think that's a good idea? Would it actually be an economic boon for us?
No, I don't like change. I'm sorry. I just don't like it. I'm sorry. I remember back maybe 30 years ago, there was a proposal to take America metric. Use kilometers instead of miles and meters instead of yards, all that stuff. And Ronald Reagan said, no, we don't want to change. Get lost.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, you conform to us. We're America, right?
Yeah, I mean, and besides, to base your presidential campaign on going metric sounds to me like a bit of an outlier.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I wouldn't put too much hope in the Lincoln Chafee momentum going.
Even Bernie Sanders is mocking his chances.
Really?
But it is fascinating to me that he makes an economic argument for it. I mean, has our economy in some way been held back because we're not measuring things divisible by 10?
I don't think so. I mean, I cannot point to a single shred of evidence that we suffer economically because we use miles and yards instead of kilometers and meters. I just don't believe. Besides, don't we have computers these days to make the instant calculation of what is 1 mile in kilometers? Don't we have computers for that?
Absolutely. It's no problem anymore. So, listen, I got to ask you, I saw this story that Hillary's going to give this speech later today, and they sent out all of these restrictive things that the press cannot do. They cannot leave the pen. They have to go to a segregated bathroom because, you wouldn't want reporters talking to people who are coming to the event. And then they went on to say that there will be no questions asked, that her speech will be the interview. Now, look.
Where do I laugh?
Well, I know, but I mean, it's like... you know my reputation when I was a political reporter. I would be outraged over that. I don't get the same sense that the press corps is upset about this.
Oh, no, they're not. The establishment media loves Hillary. They're getting a little disenchanted, and you hear some noise about, well, maybe we should support Elizabeth Warren. But the establishment media is basically over the top for Democrats.
Yeah.
And the more left they go, the more the establishment media likes them. So you're not going to get any real hostility from the media towards Hillary Clinton, certainly not from the establishment guys. But I think actually Democrats are getting somewhat desperate here because Hillary is falling in the polls. 57% say she's not trustworthy. She's not dealing with us honestly. That's a huge negative. And I think the Democrats are worried that they're stuck with Hillary because there's nobody else around who's prepared to take on the challenge.
Yeah, they really don't have much of a bench right now.
But the media will eat the crumbs she gives them, Stuart Varney.
I like that expression.
Stuart Varney, Fox Business Channel, my personal nominee for the new president of FIFA. Hopefully he will throw his hat into the ring.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks, gentlemen. See you soon.